So when we're applying constraints into our analysis, we can change the degrees of freedom that it's being applied to, as well as change the coordinate system. Now the coordinate system becomes important because this will set the X, Y, Z directions as well as the rotations that's going to be used. So if I was to use the ArborPress model itself, I can see the coordinate systems that's going to be used. But if I'm working with a specific component, perhaps what I'd like to do is I'd like to change the coordinate system so I'm using that component's X, Y, and Z values. And that's why I can actually change the coordinate system that it's being worked on. Now, to kind of select from a pre-select option, what I'm able to do is I'm able to say, well, I want to work with pinned, so I'm not going to constrain the rotation. So because of this, I'm able to select this face because I want this face to be pinned, because I want to fix the position of it, but I don't want to fix the rotation of it. So the idea is that I want this to be pinned, but I still want it to be free to rotate as far as the analysis is concerned. Now, if I want to go, let's say, the opposite, where I don't want this to be, I don't want this to rotate, but I want it to be able to translate, I can pick the no rotation, and it's going to constrain the rotation, but leave the translations open. And if I pick free, notice it just turns everything off. So you might be thinking, well, why would I want to use that? This is just a way to basically tag a face to say that, yeah, I have thought about that, but I don't want to constrain it in any fashion. That way, when you come back to it later, or somebody else is working on it, they go, well, why isn't this face constrained? You can see, oh, they did think about it, but they didn't apply actually any degrees of freedom to it. Okay, so in this case, I want this to be pinned, as we can see, and I'm going to click OK to apply that. So now we can see this new constraint. I kind of forgot to name it. So let's actually call this pinned 1, and I'm going to click OK to assign that. Now let's go back into it one more time. So we'll right click and pick edit. And what I'm seeing here is that I'm allowing it to rotate in all directions. Well, you know what? Realistically, this is not going to be able to rotate. Remember, I'm using the global, basically, assembly. This is not going to be able to rotate about the Z axis. So I'm actually going to prevent it in that direction. So just because you pick from a preset doesn't mean that you can't go in there and alter it after. So you basically pick the preset that's the closest, and then you go in there and you alter how you want that to be assigned. Now I'm going to click preview, so I actually get a preview, and I'm actually going to increase the size of that a bit, and I'm going to change the color to be green just so it stands out a little bit more, and I'm going to increase the density just so we get a few more of those so I can visually see that it's been applied to the model. Now this dialog box also works that you can actually minimize the size of it. So the idea is that you can minimize it, kind of to get it out of the way, go make your selections, and then expand it again to actually work with the details. So basically just roll it up, get it out of the way, and then roll it back again. Also notice the option here to create a duplicate. So the idea is let's apply this, but let's immediately keep the dialog box open so I can go and pick other surfaces to work with. In my case, I'm satisfied with the results, so I'm going to click OK, and it's now applied that pinned constraint.